The individualism rampant within the capitalist system continually undermines and has even perverted the people's collectivist nature, which has resulted in a constant stunting of political movements based on the true needs of the people, decided by the people and not some reactionary political organizations. This individualism serves two main purposes. One, to invoke a sense of passiveness within the masses, which then results in the masses becoming numb to the injustice and oppression rampant within the capitalist system, occurring both to themselves and those around them. This is done through ways of minimizing each and every one of us to mere numbers through job market competitiveness and the meritocratic nature of the system, which has resulted in us seeing each other as nothing more than enemies which must be overcome or removed at all costs. These same ideals are found in illogical sentiments such as xenophobia and the immigrant crisis occurring all over the world, which is just blatant racism. But I digress. This depraved competitiveness has resulted in the people developing this disgusting mindset of victim blaming those who could not overcome or suffer due to the exploitation rampant within the system. This mindset is essential to the vitality of the exploitation, as the lower class citizens' cries for liberation are taken as nothing but the pleas of a bunch of shiftless individuals by the middle class, who have been consumed by the elitist nature of capitalism. This elitism numbs them to the fact that even while the middle class is exploited and oppressed, at least they can afford luxuries the poor man and woman cannot. It is essentially the king's jester laughing at the poor fool because they cannot entertain the king. This unknowingly makes both the lower class and middle class all the more susceptible to exploitation, as the middle class is seemingly oblivious to the fact that they're essentially a single caste with their lower class counterparts. A caste which is the oppressed class, which is the working class, which must revolt collectively in order to liberate themselves from the clutches of the bourgeoisie and capitalist system. Only collectively can we stand, but the system teaches us otherwise, that to cut the rope beneath us is brilliant, even when it goes against our very morals. 2. It serves to facilitate sectarianism within revolutionary parties and, above all else, revolutionary movements. These sects, while being collective groups, are an example of the perversion capitalism has had on our very nature. Sectarianism has no goal other than to destabilize the movement. In 20 Enemies by James Foreman, he shortly explains how sectarianism, as well as 19 other problems, stifle revolutionary movements. On the matter of sectarianism, he says that the egotistic myths of those within sectarian groups in larger unity often demoralize fresh and new forces that are serious about revolutionary action. This highlights another form of elitism I touched on earlier. This sectarianism also causes infighting within revolutionary groups, which, when accompanied by other factors such as police infiltration, lead to the eventual downfall of said groups. A key example of this would be the Black Panther Party's leaders, Huey P. Newton versus Eldridge Cleavers. This ideological dispute between Mr. Newton, who argued for a community program-focused party, and Mr. Cleaver, who argued for a militancy-focused party, while just being an ideological dispute, fractured the party and was seen as a weakness by the capitalists and was manipulated and further exasperated, which, while being reductionist, led to the eventual downfall of said party. This brings me to another point, that sectarianism assists police infiltration. another one of the 20 problems James Foreman speaks on, and says, the greatest danger facing revolutionaries in the United States is not police infiltration, but a refusal to organize in such a manner as to minimize and eliminate it completely. However, this organizing is made near impossible due to the elitist and egotistical nature of sectarianism, which is polarized by the collaborative and collectivist nature of the task. This results in a vulnerability which makes the revolutionary groups ripe for police infiltration. In present day, this individualism, this sectarianism, is seen with the existence of countless political parties which more often than not do not represent the true needs of the people and instead cosplay to be for the people while pandering to the capitalist agenda. These parties serve to overwhelm, separate, and most importantly, stop us from truly organizing as the oppressed class and revolting against the current system. The goal then should be to rid ourselves of this individualism, this elitism, by educating ourselves on the historical conditions which led to the oppression of our people. We must familiarize ourselves with our comrades, even those who you have been convinced are below you. We must come together under the goal of destroying the current system and rebuilding a new one, which favors the proletariat, which favors the oppressed, which favors the people. We are and have always been collectivists. In closing, a quote by the great Samora Machel. Solidarity is not an act of charity, but mutual aid between forces fighting for the same objective. All right.